Hello everybody, welcome to This Day. It is Friday, it is April 10th. I'm Michael Taylor, good to be here with you. We started off the week kind of sunny, we're headed towards some rain this weekend. We're telling you about that in the forecast in a minute. Right now though, we want to talk to you about what we got on our show today. We're safely indoors, away from the rain, and we're going to be welcoming Melissa Fort to the program. She is going to be talking about how important it is to deal with a local realtor when you're talking about buying or selling here in this community. And then manners, we're not talking about the other way spelling that, not good manners, but manner alterations. We want to make sure you guys know all it takes to do manner alterations here in the community. Got a quick tutorial video for you. And then later in the program, Cole, he's going to be here with Sports Corner. Looking forward to that as always. All right, folks, we got some important stuff. We got rain. That means we're going to have puddles. That means we might have some mosquitoes in the area. So we need to make sure we are fighting off those mosquitoes. These little pests can be a big threat. So you can protect yourself and reduce mosquito breeding in your neighborhood. Make sure you wear repellent. Wear long sleeve clothing, DEET stuff like those kind of things. Make sure you dump and drain outdoor containers that are filled with water at least weekly. Make sure you clean those things out. Let me tell you something, I can't stand it when there's a mosquito in my house. I go nuts. So make sure you do follow all these things. Make sure you get rid of those mosquitoes around. They do spread diseases. They are pesky, and they can just be a big pest around here. So if you want to learn more, here's my favorite website in the world, mosquitoessuck.org. There you go. That's how you can learn more about how you can wear clothing, repellents, and prevention around the home. There you go. Let's take a check of our forecast while we're at it. And yeah, we got some rain and a chance of thunder in the forecast today. We also have an 85% chance of rain on Saturday and even more on Sunday. So we got a rain, off and on rain-filled weekend for us. Then on Monday, the clear out starts to begin. We're going to be cloudy, but the chance of rain is pretty much gone. And then by Tuesday, mostly sunny skies and up to 67 degrees. All right, let's take a look at our sunrise sunset shot. Beautiful one here. No rain in this forecast over here in Florence, Italy. Thank you very much, Laurie Maloa, for sending us this picture. Sunrise this morning was 6:26. Sunset tonight is going to be 7:18. Beautiful shot there. If you'd like to send us a picture, we'd love to see it. Please send it to us via email, lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Make sure you include your name, where you took the picture, and we'll use it in our sunrise sunset segment. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be talking to Melissa Fort, realtor right here in Laguna Woods.
You know, people ask me about real estate here in the village all the time. I live here, and as a realtor, I know buying and selling in our community is different. There are specific rules and details that really matter, and having someone who truly knows how it works is important. If questions come up for you or someone you know, give me a call. I'm your Laguna Woods Insider. Please call me, Melissa Fort, your Laguna Woods Insider at 949-478-5888, or visit my website.
From Rainbow Realty, we welcome back to the program Melissa Fort, realtor extraordinaire. Thanks for joining us.
So glad to be here, Michael. Love coming here.
And let's start off with that. I just called it Rainbow Realty. You guys have a little bit of a name change going on.
Absolutely. We are just going back to our roots. We were originally Rainbow Realty. We became Century 21. We're just going back to who we originally were over 30 years ago. I wasn't there 30 years ago. And so it's the same staff, the same people, same agency, the same presence in Laguna Woods, the same office. We just changed our name.
There you go.
Back to what it originally was. Yeah.
Same people, same service. That's the great thing, right? Yeah. Nothing really changes, kind of a little bit of a name change. It's not as much of a mouthful either.
My business cards are shorter too.
Yeah, exactly. All the ink you're saving and all the signs as well. That's good to know. So when people come to buy in the village, let's start with there. What do people not realize about what it is to buy in the village as it is to just buy in some other community outside of a retirement kind of facility?
Well, it's very different here. People, a lot of buyers are coming in thinking that it's here's my purchase offer, here's the acceptance, and we're done.
Right.
No, there's a lot of in between with us, and actually living here is how I've learned how all this works, because I did this years ago.
Right.
There is an HOA aspect of purchasing here, as well as selling.
And it's a little more involved than a regular HOA, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely. Because there's 3 different mutuals, 3 different HOAs, there's 3 different rules, however you're purchasing. It's helpful to have somebody that knows what they're doing here, because outside agents don't realize how involved the HOA gets.
Absolutely. So what are some of the, like, maybe the options in terms of to move in within the community? Are there different ways to go about getting in here?
Yeah, if somebody has not been in here before, there's definitely a learning curve to get in here, because there are different financial qualifications for different areas. It's the learning curve is really all I know how to say. We've got 91 floor plans here. We have areas that are a little bit closer together. We have areas a little hillier, so it's a little bit more spacious feeling. We have people that come in that are avid golfers and they want to definitely be by the golf course.
Okay, right.
So it's whatever they're looking for, and a lot of the options are much smaller. So there's a little bit of a learning curve of going from this big 3-bedroom house, 4-bedroom house to this adorable condo.
It's a downsizing kind of mentality. The kids are gone, that kind of thing, right? And at the age of the buyers and the sellers in this area, I mean, are real estate interest rates really a big factor, or are most people coming with cash?
I don't know the exact percentage, but I'll tell you that almost everybody I work with is cash buyers, because we're at that time in our life. You know, we've probably owned a home or 2. The kids are gone, like you said. The money's there, so it's like, let's downsize. Let's get rid of all the debt, and let's just have an enjoyable retirement life in an amazing resort community.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you next. What is the appeal when people say, "Hey, I want to look in here because of A, B, and C"? Do you have people that are already kind of sold on this community before they even come to you?
A lot of people that I have known have known somebody that already lives here. So a lot of people have experienced it. Although lately, for some reason, I've had a lot of people from out of town reaching out. And they're finding how inexpensive it is to live here versus outside the gates. You could put, add a few $100,000 to the same thing outside the gates. So it's a very, very reasonable place to live.
Is there much movement within the community? Like, hey, we were over here in the Manors, now we want to be over here by whatever it might be. Does that happen a lot?
That amazes me. That happens a lot. I've done quite a few of those. I had a gentleman that had a 1-bedroom, and he had a co-op, and he decided he wanted a 2-bedroom and didn't realize that he didn't have to qualify again for the HOA rules. So, but he had to sell it within 6 months. I won't go into all the details.
Right.
There's a lot of things to know. But yes, that's common. I've had a couple that lived over maybe by Clubhouse 4, and they said, you know what? We're avid golfers. We absolutely want to be by the golf course, so we'll move them in over there.
Okay.
And you can own more than one condo, but you can't own more than one co-op. So there's lots of fun rules, but that's what we're here for.
What are some of the other differences in co-ops and condos? It's kind of confusing, I think, to a lot of people if they haven't actually experienced one or the other.
Yeah, a lot of people from out of state don't realize what a co-op is. It's a stock cooperative, and it means that the corporation that owns the land and the building is giving you a stock certificate, like AT&T or Apple, one of those. So you have a stock certificate, and you have that gives you the right to own it, the right to use it, the right to sell it, the right to buy it. So it's similar to a deed. The condos are deeded real estate, which is what most people are used to. So with condos, you get a deed. With a stock cooperative, you get a stock certificate. But the process is basically the same.
Okay.
You're handing over ownership to somebody else. The type of ownership is a little bit different.
Okay.
With a co-op, they own the outside and the inside. With a condo, they own the outside, but you own the inside, and there's some variations between that as well. So
it's a lot to get into. It seems confusing. Again, that's why you would want a realtor to kind of come in here and kind of lay all these things out to you. How important is it when you have a client that comes in and they maybe think they don't need a realtor, or no, I've purchased places before, and then when you sit down with them, they go, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Melissa."
That's the first thing I do with people. I want them to understand that this is not a standard purchase. It's not. It works. It's been working for 50, 60 years. It's just not standard. So there is a bit of a learning curve, and I let them know that I'm here every step of the way because they don't know. And they don't know what they don't know, and that's what I'm here to help them with.
And how listings go? Are you doing more? Do you do more buyers? Do you do more sellers? Do you get a little combination of all those things?
It ends up being a combination, but I really like working with the buyers because they don't know a whole lot and like to help people understand. And I just love the community so much. I'll talk to anybody about it. But I do have sellers as well. especially the sellers that are wanting to move in one area to another area. But I will work with anybody that's interested in the village just because it's such a great place to live. So
now, before you came to live here, what did you know about the village and in Leisure World and all these things that used to be called and all that kind of stuff?
Oh my gosh. I remember driving down on the freeway going, oh, there's Leisure World, those old folks
There's
places.
the Globe.
And here I am, 30 years later, living here, loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
So
what is it like, just not as a realtor, but as a resident, what is it that the appeal of it so much to you when you said, hey, I'm gonna live here?
Well, back in the day when I was younger, I thought this was old folks' home where people just sat around and watched TV. And,
Me too.
Yeah.
I admit. When I was at El Toro High School and we drive by and we go,
a retirement center. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
It's terrible. But I have found that this is the most fun place to live that I've ever lived. I mean, I could go out and pay HOA dues about the same as this, and I've got a pool. Mm-hmm. But here, the activities, the way of life here, this is, I call it resort living. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have access to all the things. I'm in pickleball and tennis and the Mac Club and Mexican Train, and my friends play golf, and there's 250 activities going on here.
There's more clubs than I can name. And,
oh yeah, yeah.
And it's just an amazing thing.
Yeah, and all the clubhouses and the pools. It's just an amazing place to live. If somebody came to me and said, well, all I want to do is sit home and watch TV and do nothing, I go, this is probably not a good place for you.
Now, when we talk about making a purchase here in the community, because there are some challenges, some things people don't know, is the length of an escrow and the length of a closing kind of a little bit longer than the usual in terms of all the qualifying that has to happen and all the other things that have to happen?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, because the HOA wants to be involved. I mean, this is a big community of 13,000 homes here, so we need to make sure that it stays compliant and that everybody meets the standards that we're required to keep this such a nice place that it is. So yeah, the HOA will do a first inspection when a unit is for sale, and there's a final inspection. The seller could be required to make some repairs, because if it's not to the standard of the HOA, they'll be required. And if there are repairs needed by the HOA, those will be done as well.
Okay.
So yeah, the HOA is involved quite a bit, and there's also an approval process where all the paperwork goes into the board, and there's 3 different boards, and they have their own way of processing that. And then once we get approval, the difference is it's not a congratulations, it's a we closed, come get your keys. It's not the big hurrah that they do out there in the real world, I call it. It's just a phone call, yeah, you're done.
Right. And so, like you said, the HOAs are invested in keeping the community standards up, because I know, like, when I've purchased before, it's like, yeah, we're going to waive the repairs, we're going to waive that thing, and that kind of, you sign a little document, and those repairs sometimes don't get made. But here, that's not going to be the case, right?
Not the case, yeah. I've seen some things that I'm very grateful that the HOA said, you got to get rid of that. It's old, it's decrepit, it makes the community look bad.
There you go.
So, absolutely. I appreciate the HOA and all the work that they do. They do a lot of work here.
They do indeed. Melissa Fort from Rainbow Realty, Realtor Extraordinaire. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Michael.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Manor Alterations. Planning a home improvement project? Here are answers to some common questions. Before beginning any project, please contact Manor Alterations for guidance. All projects require mutual approval, so be sure to submit a mutual consent application prior to starting any work. Work may begin only after all required approvals have been received. A mutual consent is the mutual's approval for alterations to your manor. It confirms that the project complies with mutual standards and community rules. Many types of alterations require mutual consent approval. Examples include air conditioning installation, window or door replacement, carport storage cabinets, kitchen or bathroom remodels. Visit the Manor Alterations office with your contractor. Download forms on our website or request documents by phone or email. Additional documents may include existing and proposed floor plans, site plans or construction drawings, product specifications or engineering documents. Your contractor can assist you in preparing the required documents. Remember, the full scope of work in the application must match the plans. A building permit is an official document required by the City of Laguna Woods Building Department to verify that all requested changes conform with the current California building codes. You may hire a contractor of your choice. All contractors and subcontractors must be properly licensed and insured. A certificate of liability insurance, COLI, is required. Work valued at $1,000 or less may be performed by a handyman. A certificate of liability insurance is still required. Questions? The Manor Alterations team is here to help.
Hello and welcome to this Friday's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young and this week has been beyond eventful, so I'll get right to it. As promised, we crowned 2 new national champions this week, so I'll start there. The men's and women's NCAA tournaments both came to a close earlier this week. Starting in the women's bracket, as I mentioned last week, the Final 4 games were played out over the weekend. UCLA faced their toughest test yet, fellow number 1 seed Texas. Lauren Betts had 16 points and made a huge block late in the game, and UCLA outlasted a late comeback rally by Texas on Friday night for a 51-44 win to reach the women's NCAA tournament national championship game for their first time in program history. Last season, UCLA made their first ever Final Four appearance. Unfortunately, they ran into eventual champion UConn, who defeated them by 34 points. Now, the Bruins have gotten their revenge. They went 36-1 this season and earned every bit of their championship bid. In their way of the first ever title stood either the team that crushed their dreams last season, UConn, or the only team to beat UCLA this season, South Carolina. That Final Four matchup was also played out on Friday night. In a rematch of last year's championship game, UConn and South Carolina set up to battle it out once again. I've talked about it a lot on this show, but UConn was the best team by far entering this tournament, having their 9th undefeated season in school history. But South Carolina has been one of the most dominant programs as well, so they would not go down without a fight. Tanaya Latson scored 16 and Agat McKeer added 14 points, and South Carolina shocked the world, upsetting defending champion UConn 62-48, ending the Huskies' 54-game winning streak and advancing to the women's NCAA tournament championship game. Now that we're up to speed, UCLA and South Carolina were all set to compete for a national championship. As I mentioned, this was UCLA's first ever appearance in the final round. For South Carolina, it's quite the opposite. This was their 3rd straight appearance, 5th ever appearance, and 4th in the last 5 years. As I said, dominant. This ended up being a wild game, and not for the reasons you might think. The Bruins beat South Carolina 79-51 on Sunday for their first championship in women's basketball history. Not only did they win their first title, it was never a doubt. UCLA never trailed, opening a double-digit lead at the end of the first quarter, en route to its 31st straight win. The 28-point margin of victory was the 3rd largest in Division I Women's Championship final. 5 UCLA players finished in double digits. Lauren Betts had 14 points and 11 rebounds, as she went on to be named the Final Four's most outstanding player of the game. Senior Gabriela Jaquez stole the show, though, as she finished with 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. Congratulations to UCLA on the dominant win for their first ever women's basketball national championship. Over in the men's tournament, what was slated to be an incredible Final Four was a little bit of a letdown. Maybe just at least one game was. Starting with the matchup of number 2 UConn and number 3 Illinois, this game was the better of the two. In the end, Terrace Reed Jr. had 17 points and 11 rebounds, and Braylon Mullins finished with 15 points as the Huskies earned their 19th straight victory in the Sweet 16 or later rounds of the NCAA tournament with a 71-62 victory. With this win, UConn moved on and earned their chance to compete for their 7th ever national title, all of which they've won since 1999. In fact, they've been so dominant, the Huskies haven't lost a tournament game played past the opening weekend since 2009, when they fell in the national semifinals to Michigan State. With one more victory, they would break a tie with North Carolina and move in 3rd place alone in national titles, trailing only UCLA and Kentucky. However, in their way of another national title stood powerhouse Michigan. This was the game that was slated to be one of the best games in tournament history, as the Wolverines took on top-ranked Arizona. What happened next was a bit of a surprise. Michigan overpowered tournament favorite Arizona early and coasted to a whopping 91-73 win. Junior center Ade Mara led the way and scored a career-high 26 points and grabbed 9 rebounds. Within the first 5 minutes, Michigan already built a double-digit lead. The game was basically over from there. Now, onto the national title game we go. Michigan and UConn were set to tip off with the championship title on the line. Michigan became the first team ever to score 90 points or more in 5 straight tournament games, so UConn's defense would look to slow down the scoring, and they did to an extent. Michigan put the exclamation point on a historic season, defeating UConn 69-63 and earning the Wolverines' first national championship since 1989. Elliot Cadeau was named Most Outstanding Player after finishing with 19 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. This game was close though, and UConn made a late game push to attempt the comeback, but their offense went cold late in the game. The Huskies missed 13 consecutive 3-point attempts at one point. Entering the final 4 minutes, UConn was 5 for 21 shooting in the second half. So, while the score might not reflect it, Michigan dominated UConn on defense. Congratulations to Michigan on their 2nd ever basketball national title. Sticking with basketball, one major story came out of the WNBA this week. It was announced on Monday that the Chicago Sky traded 2-time WNBA All-Star Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dream for first-round draft picks in 2027 and 2028. Reese defended her WNBA rebounding title last season, averaging 12.6 per game. She's the only player in WNBA history to average at least 12 rebounds per game in a season, which she also did in 2024 and 2025. Reese also led the league in double-doubles last season while also leading the Sky in scoring and assists. All this to say, this trade came as a major shock to the WNBA. The Sky have missed the playoffs for 2 straight seasons, so it appears they're just looking for a fresh start. Speaking of playoff droughts, 2 professional teams have both taken turns holding the record for the longest amount of time without a playoff appearance across all major North American sports. Those 2 teams are the Buffalo Sabres of the NHL and the New York Jets of the NFL. Earlier this week, one franchise was left being the sole heir to that title. The Buffalo Sabres clinched a playoff berth Saturday to snap their 14-year postseason drought, the longest in NHL history. Now, the Jets hold the record for the longest amount of time without a playoff appearance across all North American sports, with 15 straight seasons. The longest drought in NFL history is 25 seasons by the Cardinals from 1949 to 1974. The longest MLB slump is 29 years by the Washington Nationals, formerly the Montreal Expos, from 1982 to 2011. The Sacramento Kings own the NBA's longest streak at 16 years, 2007 to 2022. So, while the Jets have been in an awful slump, they still have some time to turn the ship around before they have the longest slump ever across any sport in history. Speaking of the NFL, major news broke this week when New York Giants star defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence requested a trade. Lawrence and the Giants have been through 2 off seasons attempting to negotiate a contract, but there's not been any progress. Lawrence has been selected to 3 Pro Bowls and picked as a second-team All-Pro twice since the Giants drafted him number 17 overall in 2019. He has 30.5 career sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and an interception. That being said, some other team will look to spend big to bring him into their roster. One of our local teams made headlines this week with one of the most impressive baseball outings I personally have ever seen. Angels outfielder Joe Adell made 3 home run robbing catches, the last being an incredible diving grab into the stands near the right field foul pole in the 9th inning of a 1-0 victory over the Seattle Mariners on Saturday night. Anytime a home run is robbed, it's incredibly impressive, but 3 is even more so. The first catch was made to rob Mariners' Cal Raleigh of his first home run of the season. Then, the second grab was almost identical to the first, this time snubbing Josh Naylor. If the game ended there, this would still go down as an unbelievable night for Adell. Then, for the third, J.P. Crawford hit a deep ball down the first base line towards the foul pole. Adele dove, caught it, hit the wall, and flipped into the stands, but managed to hang on to the ball. This performance was so unbelievable that Torrey Hunter, a 9-time Gold Glove Award winner and Angels legend known for his acrobatic catches in the outfield, said this was probably the greatest defensive game he's ever seen. The Angels are off to a tumultuous start as per usual this year, but let's see if this game inspires them to string together a couple wins. To close the show, one of the biggest sporting events in the world is officially underway this weekend. The Masters at Augusta National Golf Club officially began yesterday morning. Naturally, world number 1 Scottie Scheffler is currently the favorite to win the tournament. Not far behind him are Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, and last year's green jacket champion, Rory McIlroy. The final round will be played on Sunday, so don't miss out on what is widely referred to as a tradition unlike any other. With all that said, enjoy all of the basketball, hockey, baseball, golf, and so much more that this weekend has to offer. It's going to be a rainy one, so it's the perfect time to stay indoors and catch up on sports. Be sure to come right back next Friday for more news, updates, and highlights. I'm Cole Young. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
For some places, care is a service. At Heritage Point, it's a commitment. Located in Mission Viejo, Heritage Point offers an environment where residents feel known. This is where community thrives. Visit our website or give us a call to schedule your visit today.
Hey, let's talk movies. We got some good ones lined up for you. I'm telling you, I say that a lot, but I'm telling you, these are two I have watched, and they're fantastic. We're going to start today with 5 Easy Pieces. It stars Jack Nicholson from 1970, brought to us by City of Hope. It's going to be at 2 p.m. with subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. Robert Dupay spends his long days on various odd jobs, drinking and womanizing until an encounter with his sister makes him revisit his past. There's some amazing scenes in this movie. It's a really kind of intense, great, heartfelt movie. So make sure you see that one today. And then on Saturday, this one just came out. It was up for Best Picture. It stars Jessie Buckley. It's brought to us by Pacific Financial. It is Hamnet. And in the late 16th century England, Angus, a healer sensitive to the world around her, builds a home with William Shakespeare, of course, a local tutor and aspiring playwright. As their lives fracture, they are tested by distance, silence, and grief. And I'm telling you, this is an amazing film. You're going to want to watch this one. Brought to us by Pacific Financial Planners, 2 p.m. with the subtitles, 6 p.m. without the subtitles. 2 great movies we got lined up for you. Okay, let's take a quick check of our weather. And since it's going to be raining outside, you might want to watch those movies inside. There you go. Today you're going to have chance of rain. Tomorrow, another chance of rain with temperatures in the 60s. Sunday, more chances of rain with temperatures again in the 60s. We start to clear out on Monday, and we actually get to mostly sunny skies by Tuesday. So got a few days of chances for rain, and then finally clear out as we start the work week on Monday. There you go. All right, folks, tomorrow on the program, we're going to be welcoming PCA and the South Orange County Community College District Trustee to the program, talking about emeritus classes and more. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. I'm Michael Taylor. For all of us here at Village Television, we hope you make this day a great one.